All right, morning, folks. It's another weekend installment of the XTF truck. So this week's word is perseverance. So we definitely we're on the struggle bus a little bit, definitely questioning some of the decisions that I've made, but we'll get there. It's early Saturday morning, it's super foggy out. Thought I was already going to have the truck basically, well, it's ready to start right now, except, so I'm still waiting on a tune. I think I've got a plan, talk to my buddy Wayne Presley at Very Cool Parts, and I think I'm just going to dump the injector data for the new injectors into the stock tune just to do the fire up, not to drive. And then wait on the tune from Palm Beach dyno. I think it was supposed to be here yesterday, but it didn't show up. So, but in doing all that and talking to Wayne, I ran into a little hiccup. And let me catch you up from what we did this week, because last week, if you recall, we put power to the truck. So basically all week, all I've been doing is getting the fuel system ready and cleaning up all the actual electrical so that it's not just connected, which is what happened last week. So let me flip this around real quick. Stand by. Okay, so the front is back off of it, and it's at a slight angle. One side's up on the jack stands, that's why it's crooked. But so this week I've gotten all of the wiring basically in. Obviously I'll zip tie it, clean it all up, but let me just take that off, and because I'm going to be taking some stuff off the truck today. I've got the fuel pump breaker sitting right there. It's all wired up, ready to go, and then all the fuel lines are in and secured, and hopefully you'll be able to see all this. I've got all the wiring to the controller all set up. It's a little dark in there, sorry about that. The other thing I've done is throughout the week, I've actually secured the sides of the bed. I've got a couple, sorry for the mess, got a couple screws right here. I've got my preliminary gap. I did a little bit of sanding, so we are looking good shape once the truck gets out of the garage. I do have to go readjust the lower control arms, so that's something that we'll get to. So then the big delay, sorry, is in here. So a little bit more wiring in here. I discovered yesterday that I still have the stock map sensor in here, and I need a 3-bar map, or at least 2.5. So, and Ford put the map sensor, wouldn't you know, in the very back bottom of the intake. So I'm gonna try for about 2 minutes to try to grab the map sensor without pulling the intake. I'm not even sure I'm going to take 2 minutes. I'm going to try and put my hand back there, see if I can even feel it. If I can't, then I'm going to have to take the intake off. And that is going to cause me to scream a little bit, but it has to get done, and better just do the Band-Aid and take it off. I'm going to put a Ford Focus RS map sensor in there. They've got them at AutoZone. Well, mine didn't, but they're ordering it. It'll be here at 10 o'clock. So I'm going to pull the intake off, more than likely, which will mean I have to drain the fuel rails. And you'll notice that the fuel rail has pressure in it because the fuel rails are all primed and leak checked. So that all works, and we have no leaks. So that's good. I've started to route the water lines to the degas tank I've got my supplemental oil pressure gauge ready to go. So I'm going to measure oil pressure right on start. Make sure that's all there. I've got my Hobbs meter switch plugged in for the new triple fuel pump in the back. I've got my boost reference into the fuel pressure regulator. Both fuel pressure regulators are set. These are all loose, so I can double check. This line here is going to go to the blow-off valves. What else? I've cleaned up the wiring over here and make sure that nothing falls on the positive post and makes a fire. I've also verified the exhaust dumps, so those all work. So, yep. So, yep, I'm all done, ready to start, pretty much. So I'm going to go ahead and attack the intake map sensor. The part should be here by noon. I got to run to Lowe's, pick up a bunch of like MPT caps, 1/8" MPT caps for the turbos, and a couple fittings for the boost controller. Yeah, other than that, I mean, it's imminent. I can't wait to get the video up that it's actually cranked, and hopefully we have oil pressure and everything is happy. So stand by and we'll update you as I see it. Okay, well, intake's off, and this is the map sensor I needed to take off, and of course Ford put it, you know, right there in the bottom back of the intake. Thanks, Ford. That's awesome. So, break some eggs, you know. So we're back to here, waiting on the part. I figured while I was here, I might as well start cleaning up some more wiring. Hopefully, this is the final push for the install. O2s are all hooked up, and yes, I meant to mention, I did put the spark plugs in. Talked about it like 4 times last weekend, so we are ready to go. One map sensor away from a start. Stand by. All right, we got the intake off, back on. Map sensor is changed, so here we are. Guys, all I have to do is finish writing the tune and then load it, and I believe we're ready for start. Stand by. Coming soon. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start loading up the tune. And let's see. Okay, there it goes. So stand by, we're moments away. Well, it does start. I'll show you that here in a second. Unfortunately, I've got a code and I can't seem to get rid of it. And the throttle's not acting correct. Like when I initially turn on, if I push the pedal, I don't have a pedal, but if I hold it, then I have a pedal. And I'm getting a code, 2 of them actually, for a circuit on the throttle position sensor to the ECU. But for the life of me, I've checked all the wiring, and I'm not sure why it's not working. So, yeah, it's kind of a bummer. It does fire. It does seem like it runs for a minute, and then it just dies. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, and let me get the scanner up so you can see, so you all see that. Maybe somebody knows something about this that doesn't make sense to me, but I mean, I'm about ready to change the throttle body, but it all worked coming in, so I wouldn't expect, you know, of course we did take the whole truck apart. Right, so let's see. So I'm going to read the DTCs, and it's got this throttle position sensor A communication circuit high permanent, and throttle position A intermittent. So P0124 and U2110. Yeah, I'm not sure why that is, but let's see. And then it dies. So I don't know what's up with that. So here we go. More troubleshooting. Alright folks, well, sometimes you just gotta stick with it. You know, I'm in such a rush to get this thing done. Didn't get the tune when I was supposed to, so I wanted to get it started this weekend because I got stuff to do this week. So I did the tune just enough to get it started. It was basically just take the new injector data and lace it into the stock ECU table. And there's some math you got to do, and you know, had my shoes on, so I had to take them off. Anyway, I thought I had it all right, but you know, sometimes the littlest thing will keep you from going down the road. So the injector duty cycle, minimum duty cycle, and the injector data was in seconds, and I didn't notice that, and the HP tuners was set to minutes. So I put seconds data into minutes. So basically it would fire up, run for 45 seconds, get out of the start cycle, and then and then it would have no gas and then die. And I was chasing around this throttle position code, which had nothing to do with the truck running. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even use sensor A. It's using sensor D. So I'm not even sure what that code is, if it's even real. So we'll still investigate that, but anyway, let me show you what it was. Stand by. Okay, so here's the injector data. So you got to take all of these numbers, and then you have to fit them into the strategy that the Ford ECU is using, and that's where the math comes in on these slopes. But these, and I got all of these right, the hard ones. But this one right here that I have highlighted, you'll notice that these all say pounds per second, pounds per second, pounds per second. Okay, got it. So now, if you go over to the ECU, I've got pounds per second, and this guy right here, right there, was set to pounds, or yeah, pounds per minute. So instead of seconds. So once I put that in there, everything seemed to work. So it's just that, I mean, they give you the flexibility. The good news is there's a ton of flexibility. The bad news is there's a ton of flexibility. So all to say, walk over this mess. I'm sweaty. All to say, after all of that, finally, like basically almost picking up alcohol again. So now, and I've been running the truck a little bit, so I'm not going to run it that long because it doesn't have water. But, and we'll get more tomorrow once we get water and the radiator in it. But so let me turn this around. You probably won't hear too much, but here we go. Firing up. And this is where it would die. And now it stays running. And there's no check engine light either now. Look at that. All freaking day, minutes and seconds matter.